Hey guys, how are you? I haven't been on in about a week or so, so I wanted to come on and speak. I think my frames are dropping. I hate that. Let me try to fix it real quick. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna try to make my connection better. I'm just gonna end everything. What time is it? Oh my god, it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm up now. My son will be up soon, so I might as well not even try to get any sleep. Hold on, guys. I can't even see who came in yet. I'm trying to make the stream better because I see that the frames are dropping. Okay, it said just one, so that should be better. Tell me what it sounds like and what it looks like. Hey Shock, how are you? So can you tell me if the audio's good and if the video's freezing or not? Oh, you can hear me and see me. It's showing that I have a couple of drop frames, but I guess it's okay. How are you, Jean? How are you guys? Well, I hope. So it's well past morning there. Sorry, I was just trying to get something to work really quickly. And it's not working. Everything is 200%. I was thinking about what I wanted to say because, Mike Weiss from LMS Tactical, he is a friend. And I spoke to him the other day. Hey, Corbett. And he was telling me about Juan. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Anyway, so Mike from LMS Tactical, he was telling me that I needed to join, what is it called? I thought it was for kids, but it's apparently not. Not Twitch, but TikTok. And so I did. And it's like 60-second videos. But I put up the first video about South Africa. And I have a couple up. And on one of them, I got like the ugliest comment from some lady. And she said that they were making Africa great again. Oh, I was so mad. I commented back to her and then I blocked her. But it made me think about something. And that is that, everywhere from South Africa to America, all over the world, it seems like it's okay to insult, degrade, threaten, try to humiliate conservative women. But if someone even perceives that you are insulting a liberal woman, your entire life will be destroyed. I mean, it doesn't even have to be true. Look at what they did to Judge Kavanaugh. And at the same time, Cory Booker, who is a Democrat, his ex-girlfriend came out with photos. She was beaten to a pulp with bruises all over her 2 black eyes, and she was trying to tell the public that he did that to her. Of course, no one listened, and they just kept trying to crucify Judge Kavanaugh for something that, he didn't even do. But anyway, this reminded me of this because it seems like conservative women take a lot of abuse, and everything just seems to be backwards. I don't get it. Because, we're not the ones in the streets marching naked for rights that we already have, or killing our babies, or any of those other things that I consider to be controversial or disgusting. I don't know when it became so controversial to be conservative. It seems like people think that conservative people are evil. It just makes no sense. And I listened to one of Mike's TikTok videos today, and he was saying how with, all of the BS, all of the racism going on against whites, but no one will admit it. It's other groups complain constantly and are the constant victim. But hey, Flying Dutchman, Juan, we all saw the movie Planet of the Apes, right? Yes. Everything is well in Texas. As I was saying before, I got distracted. So Mike was saying on one of his TikTok videos, he was calling out a guy, which he curses a lot more than I do. Not that I don't curse, because I do curse a lot. But he was really letting him have it. And he was talking about, he had watched something about slavery, all over the world. And, people always talk about slavery in America and how blacks were enslaved. But the truth is that, they didn't have an uprising and free themselves. And really only a small amount of whites were even slave owners, a tiny percentage. But they were, that's why we had an entire war. Okay, remember Gettysburg? And I know it was about more than just slavery, but a lot of white people died to free slaves. Slavery is wrong, no matter what color you are, and no person should own another person. But people all over the world owned slaves. So whites owned white slave Vikings. It wasn't just black people that were enslaved. The Irish, they suffered greatly, but you never hear them complaining. The liberals have declared war on sanity, and conservatives many years ago were just too polite to fight back in the same way. The Flying Dutchman. I say this all the time because I often say that if our men don't become warriors again and stop worrying about hurting people's feelings, that we're not going to be here in the future. I don't know when. I know it won't be in my lifetime, but there will come a time when we are no more. And it's because of this reason. Hi, Stephen. How are you? So I have a couple of examples here, guys, because I was really thinking about this today because, I take a lot of abuse, mainly because I speak for, what's happening in South Africa and to expose the crimes of the ANC and the EFF and others. I think I suffer a greater amount of attacks than just a normal American speaking out on conservative issues. But for example, when I say that no one says anything about abuse to conservative women or degrading them or threatening them, it's okay, But if you do that to a liberal woman, you don't even have to do that. If someone thinks you did, your life will be destroyed. So, for example, Dana Lash, she's an NRA spokeswoman, and she is abused so much. She's threatened with rape. Her kids are threatened, and no one says anything about it. It's horrible. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, they constantly are making fun of her makeup or, just trying to humiliate her and make her feel less than. And nobody stands up for her. No one says anything. Hey, Spectre. Sarah Palin, she is attacked and abused. She was John McCain's running mate in the election with Obama. Hey, Olaf. Hey, Kevin. And she was, she's still abused to this day. She's called stupid. Just everything you can think of. And then Melania Trump. This is a very beautiful First Lady. She's an immigrant who immigrated legally. She speaks 7 languages. She's very brilliant, but she is insulted and just savaged by the media and people. Think about if every major designer, almost, refused to dress Michelle Obama, even though her size is not that of what they're used to dressing. Her build is not what they're used to dressing. I can remember her being dressed in these fancy dresses thinking, oh my God, she looks like a cow. And the news media just going crazy. She looks so beautiful. No, she doesn't. She looks like a cow in a dress. But, they insult Melania Trump, and she's a former model, refused to dress her. If that were done to Michelle Obama, someone's career and whole life would have been destroyed if they told the truth that she looked like a cow in a dress. The Flying Dutchman says, we're underestimating the wickedness of liberals. They're usually the ones instigating fights and wars, where conservatives are peace-loving and grant their opinions and freedom. Yeah, that's right. So it wasn't enough under Obama for conservatives, this is what we usually do. And I feel that, hey, Hendrik, hey, Val, Curry, hey, love that name. So I just put that together. So, and I think it's all over the world, guys, is that, what was I going to say? Let me read that comment again. Flying Dutchman, squirrel. Oh, okay. So it wasn't enough under the Obama administration for conservatives who I feel are like this all over the world. Okay, we just want to be left alone. I don't care what bathroom you pee in. I don't care if you want to wear a dress and cut your wiener off. It's not my business. I'm indifferent to it. I don't have to live it, you do. So I don't care. Just leave me alone, That wasn't enough anymore. If we didn't celebrate all their bullshit policies, they tried to destroy your life. I mean, they went after conservative nonprofits. The IRS did under the orders of Eric Holder, and they went after, all kind of people. Dinesh D'Souza. And they went as far as to prosecute and lock these people up. Joe Arpaio, which Trump pardoned him. I'm very happy about. He was the tough sheriff in Arizona who got convicted for doing his job, kicking people's ass out of America that break the law by coming over the border. But anyway, it's just the double standards are so horrible. And I was watching some of Mike's videos on TikTok today, and it's like he is in a constant battle with these people. I'm not going to stay there if it's like that, because I have enough irons in the fire, and I can't afford a bunch of little battles with small-minded people. I just can't. And, just to be fair, it is an attack on conservative values, because even if you're not white, if you are conservative, you are attacked, like Candace Owens is. She is treated so horribly for speaking the truth. Dr. Thomas Sowell, Governor Tim Scott of Florida, Trump did a press conference, and he was standing by him, and after it was over, by black people, he was abused so horribly. They called him an Uncle Tom. They called him I can't even say it, but like he was the token, black person in the picture, and he actually has taken an interest in South Africa somewhat. I know that Mark Williamson has gained Governor Tim Scott's attention to this, and he is a black man. He is a conservative. He is a good man. But that's why I say what's happening in South Africa is it's going to come for us. It may come in a little bit different guise because of the demographics and the tribalistic beliefs. Here, there are those people that just hate you based on race. But for the most part, in my opinion, it's more liberal, conservative hate against each other than just race alone. And it's really crazy because, like I said, when the hell did it become so controversial to have conservative values and believe in keeping your family together and, not teaching your kids to be Satan worshipers and not killing babies and things like that. It's like the world has gone crazy. So, did you guys see the video of the guy in the school in South Africa where he went in? I know you saw it. Everyone saw it. Even people here in America saw it that don't really know about South Africa. But they had, the students did all of this satanic artwork, and the teachers allowed it. And they ripped up Bibles. It was crazy. And I don't know. Regardless of what you teach your children, that's a parent's choice. But whether I was Christian or whatever, I wouldn't want my child participating in that. It is a lack of respect, a lack of values, and it is just planting a seed, I think, of evil in a child's brain. Hey, London. We have responsibility as adults to not only look out for the best interest of our own children, but anyone's children that we at any time are responsible for. And that means saying, no, you're not doing satanic artwork and tearing up Bibles. Not a good idea. And I wouldn't allow someone's children to do it. I'm not a teacher, but I wouldn't allow that. It's our job to steer them in the right direction, to make the right choices. It's why little children don't vote or, make big decisions, because they don't make the best decisions. My daughter voted for Hillary Clinton in the school election. She was 5. She told me her makeup looked nice, and that was why she did it. The South African government expects 51% of private businesses to be handed to BBEE partners. Just like that. That's what happened in Zimbabwe. What was the end result? Right. So, Juan, I actually have a friend from South Africa, and they owned a very successful business, and they were supposed to be exempt from the BBEE because it had to do with environmental things, and it turns out they weren't exempt, and they had to do this. Their business was destroyed, the money was embezzled, and they lost everything because of this. And that is not right. Yeah, Black African culture and their animism religion is heavily based on demon worship and satanic rituals. It's horrifying. I explained this on TikTok after someone basically said the people deserve it. I explained to them how the people are murdered and why, and what Sangoma is and what they believe. Yeah, it was the video. The dad was so angry, he was like almost crying. And it was horrible stuff. Valkyrie says, Juan, what we need to do is take the sayers, reappropriate our welfare system to our own people as well as our scholarship funds, and let them starve like they did in Zimbabwe. It's only a matter of time anyway. If they continue on the highway to hell that they're on, with land expropriation, and they don't do something about these BBEE laws. I read the other day that South Africa is the largest welfare state in the world. For every, is it 3 or 5? No, for every 1 person that works and pays taxes, there are 3 or 5 welfare recipients. That's not sustainable over time. Obviously. Valkyrie said, I think we can make fair trade. We'll take the poor, and they can have their people from our lands. Perfect solution. I think that would be a great... Yeah, I was just reading to myself, sorry. So, with the land expropriation, guys, I know that a lot of farms are already set for expropriation, and I know that, I've heard that some have been taken, but I'm not there. So when do you think they are going to full blast begin to do this? And if there is a lot of pushback, how do you think it will be handled? Because I think if they were to send in like military or something like that, because people were standing their ground when their land is being stolen, that would be the stupidest thing they could ever do. Cecil is also, yes, I did hear this. They stopped construction. A plant in Louisiana, this info leaked from JP Morgan Chase. I know about the plant in Louisiana, but I did not know that they stopped production. Or not production, but construction. Wait till the virus hits, they'll be bankrupt. You know, I've said this the other day, guys. It makes me think of Singer Van Rensburg. And when he says that something strikes them down, and I'm like, okay, so is this it? I mean, just all of a sudden, they're just gone. And so it's like, okay, they're not going to disappear into thin air. And I know most things are metaphors, but how is this going to happen? And it can't happen soon enough. Yeah, the BBEE is killing the economy. Killing. Good morning, Ben. Thank you. The media won't make a peep. Yeah, they just act like... one of my greatest recent, just something I got satisfaction out of because I get pissed at her, is Lena Marks, the U.S. ambassador, being savaged on Twitter when she tweeted out something about vibrant democracy in South Africa. She was attacked by every color, every creed South African that there is, and people posted videos and horrifying stuff. I mean, it was crazy because, you know, she deleted my comments off of the picture of her with de Klerk on Instagram. I regularly comment on her stuff and tell the truth, which is usually the opposite of what she says in her post. But she deleted my comments. And it's because of people like her. Somebody posted on Twitter that silence is complicity. And that's absolutely true. To pretend like nothing is happening there. Because it's not only the murders, you know, it's the fall of an entire nation. The destruction, the failure, the economic failure, infrastructure, everything is failing. And the only people that I've really seen go after the ANC is the New York Times. I know that's kind of shocking, but they've done like 10 stories, and they're absolutely right about everything they say. I mean, they attacked David Mabuza. They wrote a story about Ace Magashule. They go after Ramaphosa. If you just Google New York Times stories on the ANC, you'll find all of these stories. But for the most part, the mainstream media, they just, I don't know why do they do this? I don't get it. Yeah, right-wing conspiracy theory. And if the whites do anything, they'll be labeled terrorists. Exactly. It is something that pisses me off, and I tell people all the time, if I speak to anyone of color, and they're saying that how they're so sick of everything, I tell them more people like you need to stand up and speak out. It is not effective for only white people to be trying to get the truth out about what is happening to the whole country. Yeah, just another excuse. They're already forcing themselves onto private property, one. They're already doing this. I saw this being done to a guy on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but Sue's Shepherds or something like that was his name. So he was posting about people just squatting on his land, and they had covered up the name of his farm with their name, and it was horrible. So I reached out to AfriForum, and I said, can't you guys do something before this ends up another statistic? I mean, look what these people are doing. And I sent the photos. Well, I woke up the next morning, I had an email from AfriForum, and they said that they had driven by, everything was quiet, but that if he needed assistance, that they would definitely help him out. And then I came across on Facebook where these same people were laughing about it, and just like it was nothing, just the disrespect and the just no respect for other human beings. It just blows my mind. Truth is the most efficient weapon. You are absolutely right, Valkyrie. And you know why? It's because people can insult you. They can attack you personally. They can lie. But the truth is always the truth. And eventually, people see through the lies. You can't keep up a lie forever. And when you have nothing to fight back with, no tools or arguments, the insults and calling people a racist only goes so far. And people get sick of that, and it's really not as effective anymore. Truth is what's effective. They're very arrogant. The ANC and EFF are quite arrogant, trying to instigate, yes, they are, trying to instigate a civil war. Millions of people backing them. I don't really, it is shocking, right? They do it because they hate you. That's it. They don't want the land. They don't want a farm. They don't want you to have it. Period. People hate what makes them feel small or inadequate. And that's where this blind hatred and destruction of everything comes from, is jealousy, envy, failure. But back to the ANC and EFF inciting a civil war. So I don't know if this is true or not, but I was speaking to someone privately, and they told me that they had been told by someone that there is X amount of money sitting somewhere, and the ANC can't touch it unless there is a war in the country, unless the country is destabilized or something like that. I don't remember verbatim, but this would actually not be a surprise to me after all of the things they do and have done. Like I said, maybe we can look into it, but it's not beyond imagination. liberals hate the truth. They do, because they have no weapon to fight back with. South African government is bragging about the land of milk and honey. Let Trump send all eligible aliens here and take the minorities to the USA. Yeah, I'm in. You know what, guys? Let me tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. I forgot about this. A while back, when the Deputy Secretary of State came to South Africa, he was supposed to be coming to get the truth and bring it back, right? So he had a round table with, sorry, there's like a gnat, a round table with the ANC, Agrisa, Grain South Africa. The Transvaal Agricultural Union was not even invited to the round table. So when he came back, the statements that he made were pretty much along the lines of Lena Marks. I mean, he said, and we had a travel warning, we still do, to South Africa. South Africa is safe, okay? And that farm murders weren't an issue, and neither was land expropriation. And I was fit to be tied. I mean, I called him everything in the book, a coward at best and complicit, at worst. And I wrote to Judicial Watch, and I also wrote to Dr. Stanton. I sent him a copy of the letter. And, I mean, I was so upset that I was crying. Why would he lie? He's lying. And Dr. Stanton told me that we were soon to get a new Deputy Secretary of State named Professor Bob Destro, that he was a personal friend of his and that he would listen. And I just remembered that yesterday. And I put something on Twitter today, and I attached him to it. And it had to do with Genocide Watch. And I asked him to please read it. And I spoke about Dr. Stanton, but I'm going to write him a letter. I'm going to write him tomorrow. Well, that's what I was kind of saying before I got distracted. Is pretty much exactly what you're saying. Expropriation is merely another step on the road to revolution based on the Freedom Charter. Circular. Yeah, exactly. And the sad part is, they promised to take this land and give it to blacks. This land will never belong to anyone but the state if they manage to take it. They will never give this land to anyone. It'll be state-owned land, something like what Stalin did. Hi, Castell. I'm sorry. I wish I could be there too. Jealousy does make you nasty. Jealousy and being a spiteful person, like needing to get revenge, I think those are very nasty qualities, and I don't know. I mean, there are certain things, if you attack me, I'm going to come back for you. But just to let it eat you up and it to be just, literally eat your soul. No. This is what is wrong with our people. They have bought this lie that we are just like they are, that we are driven and motivated by hatred. And that's not true. That's absolutely not true. It's mirroring the perpetrators. And this is a part of genocide, when the perpetrator group mirrors their actions onto the victimized group to actually make the victimized group seem to be the perpetrators. And all over the world, the perpetrators of atrocities against people have become masters at pretending to be the victims. It's that way in America as well. Our statistics, our Department of Justice statistics clearly show that black on black crime is a huge issue, black on white crime, black on everybody else crime, and that white on black crime is basically non-existent. I mean, the number is so small compared that it's basically non-existent. Same thing with the rape statistics. Yet, I see people in South Africa tweeting that black people in America are there's a genocide. Give me a break. You're right, Valkyrie. It is not in our nature, in my nature, in you guys' nature. It's just how we are as human beings. It's called humanity. And we don't naturally, I think, want to hate anyone. I don't. And narcissism, thinking that everyone is just like us when they're not exactly. So I've said this before, but Dan Root had mentioned a book to me that he helped translate from French, and it's a very old book, and I never did get the name from him, but it was about the cruelty of African culture as a whole, against everyone, against each other, and anyone. Yeah, he spoke to the terrorists and thugs, how stupid not talking to the Freedom Front Plus and AfriForum and the other minorities. And that's what I said. I was so furious. I wrote Judicial Watch. I wrote everybody that I could write. But he doesn't have a job anymore. He's been replaced. The hidden funds are the pension funds. So you think that the pension funds are what they can't touch unless there is a civil war or the country's destabilized, because that would be considered an emergency situation. Interesting. Hey, Dick Justice. There's still a lot of minerals. Yeah. So I was looking at the map of farms set for expropriation, and also a map of the land that is the most rich in minerals, and that these farms line up exactly with that land. Who said that? Who said what, Faith? Right, so Jocko says, I think the Boer have reached the point where talking is over. Next action and justice. Right, I watched that video of Isaac. The line has been drawn, and if the ANC cross that line, the shit hits the fan. Yes. And you know what? I used to be afraid of this, and I used to say, which actually Isaac Van Zyl said the same thing, be on the defense only, act within the law. I was so afraid to see the results of what would happen if people didn't, and that has been taken out of my heart, that fear. I no longer have that. And every day I see the people, just becoming stronger, like just remembering who they are and where they come from. And I guess you get to a point where you can only be pushed so far, and you have to choose to either go over the edge of the cliff or push back. And I think they've pushed about as far as they can push. They are fundamentally different from us. I agree with you. I mean, I don't hate anyone either, but we are all inherently different for inherently different reasons. And it is impossible to coexist with when you have a Christian population and people who practice Sangoma. It is polar opposite. You can't coexist like that and have your children going to the same schools, and it's never going to work. You agree with Jocko? I do too. Guys, my son, I hear him waking up. My battery is about to go dead as well. I don't know where my charger is. But I'm going to end here. I know I got a little bit off subject, but I think this was a really good conversation. And as always, I am always thinking of you guys, always doing, what I can. I'm going to write Deputy Secretary of State Robert Destro. You can find him on Twitter if you type in Destro, it'll bring him up, and it says Deputy Secretary of State. So start attaching him to your Twitter posts, and he is supposed to be a good man who is not afraid to speak truth to power. Dr. Stanton told me that himself, so let's hope that that's true. We are focused, disciplined, intelligent, well organized. We can use our heads. Exactly. So your biggest, I say that all the time, your greatest advantage is that you have rational thought process. I mean, and that's really simple, but that is your greatest advantage. It's your ability to think rationally. So, right, and we will always be the oppressors, and they will always be the poor victims. Bless you too, Juan. Thanks for coming in, Jocko. It's okay, you can watch it later. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys coming to listen, and God bless Valkyrie. Thank you very much. I try. And I will speak to you guys again soon. Have a great day. And I will be praying for you, thinking about you, and everyone, please stay safe.